Hello YouTube, welcome back to another one of my videos, and got something quite cool to share with you today, which is a discovery I've made, and it's regarding playing arcade games with the trackable. So until I show you that video, I'll just start by doing a little cheers and showing you the beer I'm drinking, because it sounds so weird I had to try it. Aunt Bessie's Apple Crumble Pale Ale, and yeah, as a post-roast beer, it's actually very nice. Ooh. It's yeah, it's not as sweet and sickly as it sounds. Pretty good, so I might go back for more of those. Anyway, getting back to the subject of the video, as someone that grew up in the 70s, 80s, I always used to really enjoy those arcade games with the trackables in, and especially my number one game of that type was Missile Command, which I think was the first, and it was also the best. It played so well, that game, and since then I've always wanted to have another, be able to get a trackable to play at home, get that sort of arcade experience. And it's been a lot harder to achieve than what I expected it to. I never had that type of thing back in the 80s. And for several years now, I've been looking for, you can get a game, I can't remember what it's called, on the TI-99, which is a Missile Command clone. And you can get a Wico Command trackable, I think it's called. But you only ever see them for sale in the US. And they're quite expensive, and by the time you pay, the postage to the UK, because it's quite a heavy item, usually works out about 130 quid. So I've never bought one, and then recently picking up the Atari, I thought, well, I could get Missile Command on the Atari 400 and get one of those 2600 trackables, which look okay. I've sort of heard mixed opinions on them. Some people say they're a bit light, and they don't control that well. But anyway, recently I discovered these Marconi Trackerballs. They popped up when I've been searching for BBC Micro stuff. You can get them for a few different systems, but the one I'm going to show you now is the BBC Micro one. What's really cool with these is you've got 3 buttons, and on the BBC Micro, I know it is possible to use those 3 buttons, unlike a lot of systems like Specky, you could only use 1 button, and some other systems you could use 2. But yeah, on a BBC Micro, you can have 3 independent buttons. So I thought, I wonder if that'll work on Missile Command, this. And yeah, these normally, I've been looking at these for a little while, and they're usually advertised for about 130 quid, which is way too much, and I'm going to spend, because I only really want it for one game, or well, more if possible. This particular one, I saw one finish recently for 50 quid, which I thought, that's better. If I can get one for around that money, I might go for it. But I didn't want to spend much, because I didn't know if it was going to work. So anyway, this one appeared, and it was a buy it now for 30 quid. £30 or best offer. And you know what it's like, you see best offer and you think, I've got to put the offer. I can't do the full price buy it now. So I did. I put £25, but straight after, I've come unstuck with that, where I put a best offer and then suddenly the item's gone. So as soon as I offered 25 quid, I thought, don't be stupid. So I then did the buy it now for 30. And in the meantime, I went onto the star.org forums, which is a BBC Micro forum, and I asked the guys on there if anyone knew if it was possible to play games with this thing, because it might be just only used as like office utilities and that type of thing, as far as I was aware. And a couple of people replied and said yes, they think it should. One guy said, I think it could work, but it might not be that useful. So I thought it might control the games, but it might feel a bit crap. And then what gave me hope was an author of some homebrew games called Tricky. He releases them under Tricksoft, and his games are really good. They're really polished. They're brilliant arcade games. And he said that he thought he had programmed it into Missile Command, of all games, the very one I wanted. But he couldn't remember if he had programmed the option in there or not. And he said he's got a couple of these Marconi trackballs, but he said they're packaged up from his house move, so he couldn't test it. So anyway, that gave me a bit of hope. And when it arrived, first impressions, it's a real quality thing. I mean, it weighs a ton. It's really well made. The trackball itself's got a really nice feel to it. So have the buttons. So I gave it all a good clean. These are made in the UK, I think. So it's got Acorn Computers Limited, Cambridge on the bottom. So yeah, they're a good quality thing. Anyway, I plugged it in, gave it a try, loaded up Missile Command. And sure enough, the option was there for Marconi Mouse, so I pressed it. But it would only move left and right, which I was a bit gutted about. I couldn't move it up and down. I could shoot, but I couldn't move it up and down. So I went back onto the forum and mentioned it, and he said something which is silly really, but I wouldn't have thought about it. He said, have you tried wiggling the connection port? Because on these, it doesn't go into your joystick port. It's actually a little port on the underside of the BBC. So anyway, I tried that, and sure enough, it did work. And the result is pretty incredible. I think this is as good as you can get for a home experience of an arcade game, outside of maybe something like an arcade 1-up. You know, if I'd had the space, I probably would have already bought a Millipede or Centipede, whichever one they did with the Trackerball in. But I've only got room for one arcade 1-up, and that's already there, the Pac-Mania one. So anyway, I'm gonna show you some gameplay in a second. Let's just get this loaded up, and I'll show you how it is. But it does play brilliantly. So I'm going to pause it now. I'll unpause it when I've got it loaded and ready to go. Okay, so here we are in the menus of Tricksoft Missile Command, and as we can see there, you've got the option for Marconi Mouse. So we'll choose that and jump on it. It will start in demo mode, so I'll just quickly go over the game for those that don't know it. But yeah, it was an early one. I think it was 1980 Atari game, Missile Command, and it's kind of a Cold War era type game. Bit of a depressing game in a way, because you're defending these 6 cities down here. These 3 missile turrets are ours, and you've got these nuclear missiles coming down, basically destroying the cities. So it sounds sadly a similar concept to things that are going on elsewhere at the moment. But yeah, it was a really cool game to play. I mean, as trackable games go, this was always my favourite. It's just really, really cool to play, and brings back a lot of great memories playing this. It's the type of thing you'd always be itching to get a game on when you go into the arcades. So anyway, let's jump on in with the games, and I will show you how it goes. So yeah, because we got 3 buttons, we can shoot those independently, and the middle one does shoot a lot quicker than the 2 outside ones, and you've got limited missiles in each, so you've got to be a little bit careful with your sort of shooting economy. And I'll just demonstrate. You'll notice the middle one, see, that shoots a lot quicker than the 2 side ones, so it's quite good to keep that kind of as an emergency, because things will swarm down on your bases. And how it works is, as long as you've got 1 city left at the end of a level, you'll progress to the next one. You want to get those planes, because they do drop extra little missiles down at you as well. But yeah, you could always play home conversions of this, but it's just one of those games that it's just never anywhere near the same to play it without the controls, without the trackable. And this really does control perfect. It's just such a joy to play. It really is. So if you've got a BBC Micro, definitely would recommend investing in one of these if you can keep your eye out and find one. Oh, yeah, now it gets quite manic. Oh, missed one. That's one of my bases gone. See that plane? That's why you want to need to get rid of them early, because they will drop several at you. Yeah, although you lose a base, it will give your bases back at the end of each level. Won't give it cities back, but you can gradually earn them back as you go along. It's not giving a true colour on my mobile phone screen. This one's actually a lot darker blue, so it does look a bit pale on there. Oh shit, I've lost my right one. Oh, I'm about to lose my left one as well. That's okay, we made it through. All our 6 cities are there. Yeah, I'll just refocus that a minute, because that is a bit... I'm probably going to die while I'm doing this. Oh, I've lost my middle one. Oh shit. Oh crap. I think I've lost all of them. It wasn't a very good idea trying to do that mid-game. But we got through. That's okay. But yeah, what's nice about it as well is it is the proper... it does respond properly. It's not like trying to replicate analog. So you can see when I spin across, it really will. The cursor really will move. Oh shit! I need a bit of luck again here. Got 1 city left. Yes, I made it. Yeah, camera's not focusing very well, unfortunately. There we go. Let's just get that fixed in. Get that little bugger. Oh shit! Yeah. Yeah, it does get pretty manic. Oh shit, we lost all our cities, so I can keep on shooting, but it is game over, sadly. And there we are, we're all dead. So anyway, I think that's over 10 minutes. So, oh, bonus city. Is it going to let me carry on? It will. Oh, how about that? That was lucky. Oh, I've only got a middle one left, so I'm going to have to be economical with my shots here. I think I've already lost the city anyway. Do what I can. There we are. And that's game over, so I'll put my name in there. I'll put just Tet in there. Where are we? But yeah, very, very cool. So again, if you do have a BBC mic, I don't know how many people that watch this have actually got them, but I mean, if you haven't got one, I recommend the system in general because it's just awesome. It's the stuff you could do on here, you know, together with what's the other one? Robotron with the twin sticks. If you watch my other video of that, you know, that plays amazing. So yeah, it's just such a capable machine. I think the BBC Master, the one I've got, is probably one of the best purchases I've made in a few years. It's really, really, really up there. So anyway, I'll stop rambling on now. Sorry, I've rambled a bit in this video, I know, but I just can't help it. But anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in. I'll catch you another time. That is all.